All right, here we go.
Get to that. So we've got this word, Arabic word here, and it's got two meanings: either crowded around, or it means to mount, like as if you're going to mount a camel or a horse.
By the
Okay,
way, real quick,
mount.
What?
I just want to say, I wish they would show the reference for where they're getting this crowded
Crowd,
around.
yeah.
I know he said lisan al Arab, but I would wish they showed it on the screen or something like that, because I know what they're referring to, but they're misunderstanding if it's the thing I'm thinking of. But I wish they would show it, because this is like a
Yeah.
huge long page where they give like all the different possible meanings, like they give you like the whole semantic domain of like what can this word mean, and I would love to see them try to make the case based off of it, because every single instance it's like riding, mounted, and very rarely do you have anything different from that. But
Yeah, why don't they ever put anything on the screen?
just put it on the screen if you have it. Yeah,
Like, this is the issue I have with Dawa gangs. When they say Lisan Arab this, like we always put stuff on the screen, page this, screenshot, everything. Why is in something so important as your prophet being ridden and this is going to help him? Why don't you put it on the screen? And like, I even circle it, I underline the word,
Yeah.
everything. Like, you make our lives so easy dismantling your prophet because you never show anything.
Yeah, and they make up all these rules now and stuff. Oh, this is this. That's, everyone knows that, and they're just making stuff up. And so, but I mean, and look at the shift that just happened, right? He's like, "Hey, what's this word mean? It means rode. It means they rode him. Can also mean they mounted him. So, rode, mounted. Yep, those are the definitions. But what about this? Oh yeah, crowd around too. And then what happened? Hamza just shifted to. So we got this word, and it means crowded around. Can also mean road, but or mounted, but And then he acts like it's the standard definition you guys are pointing out. What? Show us the source for that. Show us the source that's how you would understand this word.
Here means exactly that. It doesn't mean what it means in England today, in English today. It can have a derogatory term. Okay.
Correct.
If I'm not wrong, in the Arabic Bible, the same term is used when Jesus mounted a donkey or something. I think it used the same Arabic.
It makes sense with a donkey, a horse, a camel, and so on. So yeah, what would that mean? That Jesus crowded around the donkey?
Exactly.
and by the way, the Bible in Arabic, that's a translation. The question is, remember what they're doing? He said, "Oh, so you shouldn't trust the translations," and yet he goes to a translation. So first of all, anyone would understand that to mean mounted or riding a donkey,
Not crowded donkey.
not crowded donkey. But the point is that that's a translation anyway. The question is, what does the Greek say, right? But he's also hinting at the fact that in Arabic, there's not a meaning for riding, like a sexual connotation. Like I think this is what they were getting at earlier when he said, like, hey, me and my partners in Texas, we're talking about riding somebody. Like, what would that mean? And then he's saying it here that doesn't have that derogatory connotation. This is also not true. I don't know if they elaborate. I don't know if he elaborates on this or not. But if he doesn't, we want to show something on the screen afterwards, because
yeah, we do actually have sources
that shows it has that sexual connotation.
Classical sources from like the Arabic of the time to say that when you say I yarkab, the same word, a woman, that's what it means.
Yeah, to have intercourse with her.
We actually do have it.
And so so you're saying it's just like us. And Raymond Ibrahim pointed this out as well, that it's like our word, in that if you were to say she mounted him or he mounted her or something like that, that would be used sexually. You guys are pointing out that the Arabic word was used the same way. It can refer to riding an animal or something like this. If it's used of a person mounting another person, then it can be used sexually, right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
and they're saying it's not. They're saying that's not the case.
Yeah.
Even if you go back a couple of seconds, he's like, "Yeah, it's not the case. Like a derogatory mean like it would in England today."
No,
not true.
You guys, the Arabs at the time are just like you and me. Like, they're normal people. When they say things, they're not aliens. Like, even normal people now say, "Oh, I rode a horse," and then if they want to be,
they say, "Oh,
explicit,
so and so rode so and so."
Yeah, they would say it. They did the same thing.
Word.
It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, they're not aliens from outer space with a language that doesn't mean anything. They still
And
wrote stuff. They still did actions that people do today.
it'll be interesting because he pointed out that it is used in the Arabic translation of the New Testament of Jesus mounting an animal, because that's how you would use it. But guess what? You have all these passages in the New Testament about people crowding around Jesus. So following, if he's right, then it should use that word there, right? For times when people are crowding around Jesus got crowds around him. So when people crowd around you, then you use the word mounted. Really? Show us that. Show us that. Anyway, I backed it up a few seconds. Let's see.
Either crowded around, or it means to mount, like as if you're going to mount a camel or a horse. Okay. Mount here means exactly that. It doesn't mean what it means in England today, in English today. It can have a derogatory term. Okay.
Correct. Everyone catch that? That's what John DOC were pointing out, that he says it's not like English today, where if you said he mounted her, it would sound like sex. It's not like that in Arabic. And Giant DOC already pointed out, wrong.
Yeah, in fact, we can show it on the
can
screen
show
here because I don't know what Cowboy's about to say, but we'll
Let's
just
show it.
just show it anyway.
This is from Muhammad's time.
Yeah.
Ali ibn Abi Talib, his cousin. This is from Kitab Adab al-Nisa, the book of women's etiquette. So this guy, Jabir ibn Utbah, reported that a man made his wife kneel down. I'm sorry for the language.
I'll give it.
And
No, because Muslims have the best language.
Yeah, he made his wife kneel down and thrust into her a thrust, causing her to fall on her face and tightening her body, in pain. That's the implication there.
Like Muhammad after the night of Zutt.
And this matter was referred to Ali, and he said she is a mount that he rides however he wishes, and he did not impose any penalty upon him for that. So it's the same exact verb used in the Arabic.
Yarkabuha.
Yeah. So the other one that we use, it was in the plural. This one is just talking about singular, but it's referring to a female. The other one that we were talking about is in the plural. It's the same exact verb though. Same exact verb. And we have another reference as well. For this, where is the other?
It's just
this one. Okay.
This is from Muhit al-Muhit, which is a dictionary, and here this is a line saying common people say rakib al-mar'a, meaning he mounted the woman.
Meaning what? That he had sexual intercourse with her. So they're like, oh, this word, like in Arabic, there's no way that you can use a euphemism to mean sexual intercourse, where there's tons and tons of words in Arabic, instead of using the derogatory or whatever, the most vulgar type of word. Which, by the way, Muhammad did use the most vulgar type of word. So when he was saying before, like, we don't talk this as Muslims, Muhammad would use tons of vulgarity, especially when talking about sexual things. But anyway, here's the word here. It's the same exact word that's used, but just again, this is a singular form of it as opposed to the plural one, and this is talking about it meaning what? Having sexual intercourse. So yes, it does mean that. And by the way, we have way more references. I literally have 7 or 8, but we're just going to show 2. But I literally have 7 or 8 references.
So we have it here in the classical dictionary, and here we have it from the time of Ali, which is the time of Muhammad or shortly afterwards, of them talking about sexual stuff and using the word yarkab, which it means to that same word that used in the hadith to mean sexual things. So yes, it was used in sexual sense.
Yeah. So Hamza, I don't know where he got that line from. Yeah, go ahead.
And it's interesting because she was in pain too, like Muhammad was.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
In this story here,
it kind of sounds like it refers to, like, the whole connotation is kind of rough sex.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's the word. And then Hamza tried to convince his viewers, hey, you don't have to worry about this because it really means, crowd around. And no, it doesn't. It means rode or mounted, both of which sound sexual. And then he says, but even though today in English, if you heard someone rode or mounted someone, you would think about it sexually, not in the Arabic and not back then. No. No one would have ever used the word in that way. And Giant DOC showed, no, that's exactly how they used the word then. They used it to refer to sex. If you're talking about this guy, this man, and this woman, and they did it, they use that for sex.
Yep.
And it's what the men of Al-Zutt did to Muhammad all night long. Guys, just do the math here. It's a word. If you say he mounted his wife, you're referring to sex. If you're referring to sex. And right there in the hadith, it says, and they use the same word. They mounted Muhammad, rode him all night long, leaving him in pain, just like the woman when her husband was having rough sex with her. So, as DOC pointed out at the beginning, we're not going with some insane interpretation. This is what it sounds like. This is what the passage sounds like. And what happens when they try to say, no, that's not what it means? They are making things up. They have to make things up. Oh, was never used like that in Arabic. Wrong. You made that up. You made that up. You don't even know the story's not from the Quran. What's that?
Oh, yeah. And I would like them to give a source, like how we just give a hadith. I want them to give a source, like an Islamic source, like something from the Quran, something from the hadith, where that same verb is used and it means crowding. That's what I want. That's what I want from them.
I would love that because in the Quran it's always mounting an animal or like a ship or something.
Yeah, riding a ship. Yeah,
riding
riding a ship or mounting an animal. And in the hadith, I mean, there's a huge hadith corpus. I can't say I've read every single hadith. Obviously, I haven't. But I would like them to give us an example. Like I said, I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but give us an example where it's used to mean crowding.
Simple request, right, guys? If you're saying, no, it means crowding, you should be able to say, here's how we know it means crowding. Here's the dictionary. Here's the lexicon. Here's a bunch of passages where it obviously means crowding around.
It should be very easy.
Because we have endless examples of it being mounted to mount or to ride.
Exactly.
And we know this is used sexually. So if you're saying no, something else, you should be able to provide evidence for that. Or it just sounds like you guys are making things up to defend your prophet once again. That would be a shocker.
Not wrong, in the Arabic Bible, the same term is used when Jesus mounted a donkey or something. I think it used the same Arabic word. So we know it can have two meanings. Now, again, I know Christians struggle with ambiguous statements. They just see everything's explicit, and then they ignore explicit, and they fish in ambiguous. Okay. So how do we work out which one?
That's the Quran. What? That was chapter 3. That was chapter 3, verse 7. He was just describing
the ambiguous.
That's not Christians. That's what Allah do. That's Allah. Allah likes to. He wants Muslims to believe that He puts in unambiguous statements in the Quran that no one else can understand except for Him, and He thinks that we're the ones who are just focusing in on that's our thing. But that's Allah's thing.
If someone said these people rode me all night and now I'm in pain, how is that ambiguous?
Right.
Yeah, and it's not the Quran, right? Allah's talking about Quran verses, and He's saying, it's just like that. I don't know. This is weird stuff, man. Hang on. I saw a comment real quick. Where'd it go? Okay, here we go. Check this out. Hey, we have a comment from a Muslim here. David Wood, even the Muslims are on Sam's side because you are a known liar. At least Sam is real when he talks harsh. Hey, telling everyone that the Muslims are on Sam's side, I don't think that will help Sam's case over here or your case. Saying that the Muslims are siding with Sam. I don't think that's going to impress people. In other words, I don't think people here are going to be like, oh, what? Muslims are on Sam's side in all of this? Huh. Well, I guess that makes Sam right if Muslims are on his side.
And also, if it makes Sam real, you do know what Sam says about your prophet, don't you? If he's real, then you're still in the Islamic dilemma because Islam is still wrong.
Well, seems like Muslims really like the work Sam is doing. Huh.
It is. Well, we look at the situation. What's going on here? So what happened? What did the Prophet ﷺ do that resulted in these jinn surrounding him, crowding him, or
Zutt.
whatever, doing whatever they did? What caused that? What was the point of it? What was he doing?
Doing the thing, yada, 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 the thing that they did to him in the desert. It
What was
is
the
fun.
he's saying what's the hikmah in this?
Yeah.
What's the hikmah in this?
It's just so funny how embarrassed they are. They're so ashamed of this. Like they're so ashamed.
That's
of
what I
this.
mean. It's hard to even tell the story without it sounding extremely sexual, and that's why he's like struggling to find the correct like words to use that don't sound sexual.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
he's like clearly struggling to do it. Hey Hamza, I'll actually help you, right? You're going, oh, they assayed him and they did what they did and so on. Just say zooted, right?
Yeah, there you go.
Whatever they did to him, we'll call that zooting. They zooted him.
I think we could agree on that one. I think
Yeah.
you can agree with us, Hamza. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, if you think zooted means something else, that's fine. Just say they zooted him, and we'll leave it at that.
For an entire night.
Doing what?
That's what I'm saying.
Dude,
This
this guy's not helping.
We finally agreed on using the word zooted, and then Muslim Cowboy has to jump in and said, "Oh yeah, all night long."
So listen to what they're saying. They crowded him all night long. The crowding never relaxed. Does that sound normal? The crowds usually dissipate. This
Yeah, and
way.
they even came. See, look, they even came over to Abdullah ibn Masud, which made him sit down real quick
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
to keep them from doing what? Keep them from crowding around him. You could still crowd around him, right?
Yeah. They could crowd around the circle.
But if the crowding was so harmless, why didn't Ibn Mas'ud need to be behind the Diddy line, or he'll get wrecked?
Wrecked.
If it's all just
Yeah,
crowding,
from crowding. Yeah, they're just gathered around because they really want to hear the crowd. If you come over here, you will get wrecked, dude. You will get wrecked. You will be destroyed if you come over here. And they're just crowding around him, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
For what would he could have been doing for an entire, even not just what was he doing, but he did it for the entire night from Aisha.
No, but was he?
As Ibn Masud said, until the pillar.
No,
Hamza's like,
they
dude, stop
did
talking
it.
about how long it was.
But I
He's like,
mean,
stop talking about how long it got zooted.
yeah, but he's sitting there. He's going, and what he was doing. He did it all night. No, they were doing it. They were doing it. They're the ones who were zooting. Anyway,
Exactly.
Yeah, he's the done
dawn.
too.
He's the zooted.
He's on the receiving end. Okay,
Yeah.
he's on the receiving end. He's catching, not pitching. Understand? He's the woman in that relationship. Just to be clear. Okay.
Meaning all the way until Fajr.
Remember the passage that they quoted, and the woman had used the same word, and it was done to her. That's anyway. You don't say, "Here's what she was doing." He did that to her.
Subhanallah.
Yeah.
But what was he doing? Was he reciting Quran?
He was reciting Quran.
Right. So let's say now the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu, he's gone into the desert. He's told Imam Masud to stay there, and he's gone out and he's recited the Quran, and then all these jinns have what's the word again? Yakribun?
Yarkabun.
Have yorkabuned him. Now let's look at context. What?
Yarka boned him.
Oh, man.
His Arabic sounds like English in a southern accent.
Yeah, it's the
The Yarkaboon.
but the thing is he had an English past tense on it. Yarkabooned him.
So he didn't want to say ride. So he said whatever they did.
The Yarkabooned him.
They Yarkabooned him.
Maybe we should start saying that. We'll
Yeah.
just anglicize it and make it sound like it's funny. He got Yarkabooned.
What?
Yarka boned.
Seems more viable. The idea that someone's reciting the Quran and all these people come and then they want to ride him like a horse, or they want to crowd and listen to the Quran. Subhanallah. So we've got two choices.
Subhanallah.
Yeah, we look at the context of the whole statement here. It's only a weird mind that can just dismiss crowding. You know,
Or a mind that would go to a lexicon and not see that anywhere. And think that you guys are making that up, like you keep making things up.
There's another word for crowding. It's completely different. I don't see crowding anywhere in any dictionary that I've seen for Yarkaboon. It's always mount, ride, mount, ride. Like I say, if it exists, I want to see it.
Yeah, so you guys are acknowledging it could be the case. You'd like to see evidence because these guys, we know for a fact these guys constantly make things up. So if you guys haven't seen it, if you didn't see this anywhere, if you didn't see, and the word also means crowding, and they're saying it, but the people who are saying it are people who constantly make things up to defend their fake prophet, then guys, it seems like a reasonable request to say, show us that. Show us the sources where it uses the word in that way. Because if you can't, okay, rode or mounted. And we know the Muslim sources use this sexually.
Yep.
And you know
just imagine, like, so DOC, you just pointed out, it's perfectly there's a perfectly fine word that means crowding. Why would they choose the word that could, even if we grant the possibly mean crowded, but it's definitely not the main use or something like that? Why would they use a word that was understood sexually? Why are they using a word that when it's talking about a man doing something to another man or something like that, or a man doing something to a woman, it means sex? Why would they pick that word?
And say that he was in pain.
And say that he was in pain.
Due to that action.
Due to that.
Due to what they did to him.
From how much they have ridden him. It's like, if they meant something else, they're not saying it. If they meant something else, they're not saying it. And the writer of that narration made sure to mention private parts. Since when, if a crowd comes and crowds you, do you have to mention whether you can see private parts or not?
Yeah, why is that a focus in the story? Like, why even mention that? Like, I don't know of any other hadith where they're like, oh, I didn't see their private parts. Like, why would you? There's a reason why
they're naked,
or maybe he couldn't see the private parts because
he knew what was happening. He just the visual didn't.
Or there's another possibility he couldn't see them because they were,
in his prophet.
In his prophet, yeah, something like that. I don't know.
Well, I mean, it's also dark, and it says something like he was like a stone's throw away or something like that. So he's a little ways away from them.
But the fact that he even makes a point about not being able to see the private part, it's like, why even point that out? There's something significant about that. Yeah,
because yeah. All right, let's go.
idea that they say.
Oh, hold up. Robin Yahud says, now we know those who are praying in the streets are waiting for Al Zutt and Yarka Boom Boom. I just wanted to quote that because could do something with the Yarka Boom Boom room at some point. If we have the men of Al Zutt in the Boom Boom room, that would be a good show.
Oh, he was kind of disheveled, bruised, or
he was feeling pain.
He was feeling pain.
The word in the hadith does say that there was some pain that he was feeling.
Where?
Zakabu, like he was waj'un.
Waj'a.
Like there was some pain from what they did to him.
Yeah, so imagine you're there and everyone's like trying to hear, getting close. Everyone's push.
And not just,
he's trying to say, imagine they're super close when they're crowding around you, so it left you in pain.
I'm pretty sure they were super close.
Yeah, they were definitely close.
Yeah, too close.
Yeah. Even that's not even normal. That's not even normal.
Yeah, since when do crowds come over you when you are in pain? And
I mean, anyone who goes to the club or goes to a sporting event or something, you're there's a crowd. There's a crowd. You're surrounded by a crowd. You're like, oh my goodness, I'm in such pain.
Exactly.
It could happen. You could, be in a crowd and then it gets, people start trampling, stuff like that. That could happen. But you're talking of all the words they chose for what the men were doing to him, they chose the word which they mounted him or rode him, which is used sexually when it's talking about guys doing it to someone else. And then he returns in pain. And so you got a meaning of a word that you still haven't shown us that it means just crowded. And then crowded doesn't sound like what's going on there. You could have used a different word for crowding. You chose the one that means sex. And then on top of it, he comes back all worn out and in pain. And it sounds like, and it's from what they did to him all night. And you're saying, oh, just imagine, there's a crowd around you. And what's that got to do with him being in pain?
Yeah. The reason I mentioned that earlier, from Aisha until Fajr.
Subhanallah.
We're talking like 7-8 hours.
Subhanallah.
Dude.
You're not making it any better.
Yeah, this guy. So at the beginning, Hamza kept talking about riding. This guy keeps emphasizing how long it was. It was all night long. 7-8 hours.
7-8 hours. I mean, think if it's 30 men of Al Zutt, that's like he's got a like 4 an hour.
And they're pushing and shoving, trying to hear the Quran. And subhanallah, this is how we've always understood it. Now,
What?
and then this is again.
What does he mean? This is how we always.
This is how we always understood. That's another thing you made up. Show.
Yeah.
We didn't even know if it was in the Quran or Hadith.
Yeah.
He didn't know where the story came from. You didn't hear about this story until you heard it from your fans complaining to you about it, who heard it from our fans who've been spreading this around, not in the Zutt sense, who heard it from us. That's so. No, this is what we've been saying all along, all this time. You just heard. You just heard about this, dude, from your fans who are begging you to figure it out.
Yeah, but Muslims do this all the time. You give them like a reference, like even something from the Quran or Hadith, no matter what, and this is the first time hearing about it. And then like 2 seconds later, they'll be like, "Oh, this is what it means." Yeah. And it's like they're giving this authoritative interpretation where they've never even heard it before.
But I have a question: why are they pushing and shoving? The sound can go to all their ears.
Yeah, like why getting? What's the point of getting closer to him? Like, do they like what does that do?
Why do they have to be up on him to hear something?
And when did he lose his like he's like what shouting for 7 or 8 hours? And he doesn't have any water. Probably like he doesn't say that, right? So it's like he's just like shouting for 7 or 8 hours just straight.
So he's reciting Quran 6-7 hours straight, and
they're just like can't help but just rub against them apparently.
Jimmy Berman says that's like 15 minutes of Zutt. Like, all right, guys, we got 7 or 8 hours.
No, 6-7 hours.
Okay, 6 or 7 hours.
No,
he said 7 or 8.
Meme. No, I know that's the meme. That's the meme, though. People in the chat.
6, 7 hours. Yeah. So
Wow.
So all right, we got 7 or 8 hours till it gets light here. There's 30 of you. 15 minutes of Zutt.
Wow.
Another stupid, I'm going to say stupid, missionary argument, because it's another internal critique. It's another idea that we should believe this.
Oh, they learned this from the Islamic dilemma. They're like, how do we respond to this? Oh, we'll call it an internal critique, and that means that they can't actually make an argument against us because
I guess you could say, given what the Al Zutt were doing to Muhammad, I guess we could call it an internal critique.
Yeah, internal something.
An internal zutting.
Internal zutting.
An internal zooting, all right.
Such a thing because of what it says, but it's not based upon what they think; it's what we think. And according to
that's what he thinks.
They don't know what any of this means, right? He thinks internal critique means they get to decide what everything means and explain it. When all they do is make stuff up. No, you don't get to decide. That's not how this works. If you want to show that you have a correct or accurate interpretation, and you have evidence for this, then you could definitely give us that evidence and so on, and show us how persuasive it is. But you can't just make up a bunch of stuff and say, "Oh, it's an internal critique, therefore we decide." That's not how. Dude, you don't know what an internal critique is.
That's what they actually think. They actually think this. This is the craziest thing.
But the thing is, we did show them from their sources that it did mean sexual things.
Or it can, yeah.
Unless you mount an animal, it can mean it between humans.
Yeah, oh yeah, between humans, yeah.
So, actually, it's the 21st century Dawa guys that are not in agreement.
But this is how we always understood it. We always understood it like this. Ever since last week, we always understood it like this.
And he can't even say Yarkabuna.
Yarkabund.
He learned it today.
One second. Where'd that go? Here we go. Same guy, Sam fan. How do you know his wife is telling the truth? Well, I know both of them for years, and he seems like a far bigger liar and manipulator than she does. In other words, she seems significantly more trustworthy. Everything she says completely lines up with what I know about Sam. In other words, when you say something, and this person did this, and it doesn't sound like something that person would ever do, then you think, okay, maybe this person's making something up. When it sounds like exactly what the sort of things that this person would do, like with her saying, he would call her all these abusive names and stuff to try and keep her degraded. That's exactly what you see on his channel. When she says anyone who criticized his behavior, he would run them out. But if they agreed with him and condemned her, then they would be welcome, and they could sit there and condemn her. And so that's exactly what you see on his channel. Anyone who disagrees with him, get out of here. Anyone who agrees with me, okay, you're welcome to stay. So yeah, I just have to say, what she says fits a lot better than saying, nope, I'm the victim. I'm the victim. She's just making stuff up. She's just making all this stuff up. So, but I have to say, you just called AP apus, and that is bannable offense here.
Yeah. This is the Muslim who's defending Sam.
So weird.
I've never seen that before. A Muslim defending Sam. That's crazy. But it seems to fit now. It seems to fit. So yeah, Sam also has a history of lying about hitting his wife for years and years and years and years, and then he goes on and say, "I never lied to you guys. I never lied to you guys." But he's been lying about that for years and years and years and years. So he actually has a history of lying about this kind of stuff. And until there comes some undeniable proof, like a picture that he himself shows, then he admits that he actually beat her. He actually hit her. But up until then, the guy's been lying about that for years and years and years.
Yeah, just a day or so before he showed the picture of the black eye of his wife, he said, "I'm not a wife beater." So how is it that the next day or the day after you show a picture of the injury?
Yeah, what a dope, by the way, right?
Yeah.
Who does that?
Yeah, well, one, he goes live the same time we're live, but then he gets this brilliant idea that I will preempt what they're doing by showing you what I think they're about to show before they show it. And then he shows stuff that I wasn't going to show. I'm not going to show a picture of your wife. I'm not going to put a picture of your wife, even with the black. I'm not going to put that picture of your wife on the internet. Why? That involves her. I wasn't going to do that. And then he does it. Look, here's my wife's black eye after I grabbed her by the hair and punched her in the face. It's like, what, dude? I wasn't going to show that. The graphic image is more disturbing to people than just hearing it, and you put it out there. What a dope, man! But
yeah,
he knows the Bible. He's super smart, so that means he's a great tactician.
The devil quoted the Bible to Jesus in the wilderness. If you quote the Bible, it means nothing. It doesn't mean you're righteous just by quoting something.
Yeah, it's not impressive to Jesus if you can quote the Bible or anything like that. Quoting the Bible is unimpressive to Jesus, especially when you're abusing it and abusing people with it. So humility, love, faith, hope, etc. These are gifts that are, something that are virtuous. But when you abuse a gift, that's not virtuous. So he also has lied about how, like I said, for years and years, he denied hitting his wife. And then he releases an email where he says that he actually hit her another time prior to the black eye incident. And he said that he says that he jabbed her. And this is a guy who weighed 320 pounds by his own admission at the time.
Probably
and his wife
500 pounds. That's nice.
Sorry.
He was big.
Yeah.
That's what I don't understand why he feels so bad. He's in way, I mean, he looked way worse back then. So he's in better shape. So Sam, compliment to you. You are you're saying you have all these issues going out and stuff like that. You look way better than you did back then.
Yeah, that's true. And like he lost a lot of weight. But the point is also that he was like triple her size. And this guy boxed. He was a boxer, or at least he has some boxing training. So when he says he jabbed her in the shoulder, he's admitting again to hitting her again. So he's admitting to at least hitting her 2 times, admitting to that now. Before it's a complete lie. I never hit her, never beat her. But you admitted it now, accidentally. And this is another thing. Sorry, I have to. Is it okay if I do this real quick? I just want to say this. So he has this thing.
Yeah. Hey, hang on. I just wanted to point out, like, how dumb. I mean, how absolutely stupid Sam's fans are. So I just pointed out how dumb Sam is. Like, think about this. Like, we're live and he's thinking, here's what they're going to bring up. And he thought I was going to like show up and have like Anthony on here and everyone he's ever wronged. And that's what it was going to be. He's wrong about that. But then as we're live, here's what he thinks. Here, let me put it this way. There are a bunch of things he knows that I know. Right. And so he thinks I'm going to bring up all these things. And he knows I have the picture of his wife with the black eye. I actually have multiple pictures. But he knows I have that, so he thinks I'm going to use it, even though I'm not. I'm not going to put her face on my live stream. But in his mind, brilliant guy he is, hey, I'll post it in my live stream first. What was the goal there? Like, what did you think that would accomplish? It'd be like, oh, but Sam posted the picture of his wife after he punched her in the face first, so I guess it's okay. Like, what? There was no point to it. There was 0 point to it. And you did it, and it actually backfired because I wasn't going to post it, and now it's out there, and it will be there forever because everyone screenshotted it who wants to point out what you did. But it's like, think about how dumb that is. It's impulsive, stupid behavior that makes no sense. But then you've got his fans who come over here and they start, we're talking about Muhammad and Zutt. No, talk about Sam. What about Sam? Talk about Sam. Okay, we'll talk about Sam. Is this going the way you wanted? You don't want us talking about Zutt? You want us talking about Sam? Really? Okay. All right, Jai.
Yeah.
What do you want to say?
Yeah. So he often appeals to, and this is another instance where he'll quote something, but he makes there's no biblical application to what he's actually talking about. He's just completely twisting the scripture, and he has no idea what it's actually saying here, or if he does, he's lying. Because the scripture says in Romans 11, verse 8, that God has given the Israelites who were blinded because they rejected Jesus and they rejected the Messiah, that he's given them over to a spirit of stupor. So it's not in the context of God judging Christians and, like Sam says, oh, he gave, this guy a spirit of stupor and now he's telling on himself. Well, if that's the case, though, even though it's not the correct interpretation and Sam's twisting this, or he's lying to everybody, he's either twisting it, showing he's not competent to, teach, or he's lying, which showing he shouldn't be teaching, because he's abusing the Bible to try to make this point. Romans 11, verse 8 does not say that God will give Christians a spirit of stupor. It's talking about the Israelites who are blinded, who rejected the Messiah. Now, he uses this to say that when people in his mind accidentally tell on themselves and vindicate what he's saying, that God is handing them over to judgment and giving them a spirit of stupor. Well, if we use that same standard for him and apply it to him, this is the guy who has the spirit of stupor according to his own definition. Why? Because he's the one admitting to things that no one has ever brought up, or before you ever brought them up. He's showing evidences of things to where his moderators, like William and the other mods that he has, who are saying, oh, Sam, you accidentally showed an email where you admitted to lashing out and hitting your wife. And look, these are the mods who are supposed to, these are supposed to be Christians who have his back and stuff like that, and they're trying to cover for him. Dude, you accidentally showed an email where you hit your wife. You gotta take that down. You gotta delete it. And Sam's like, no, I did that on purpose. I did it on purpose. No, you didn't do it on purpose.
It was a mistake.
That was a spirit of stupor on you, and you told on yourself with that same spirit of stupor. So your mods who are trying to cover for you, like this guy William trying to cover for you, he said they're panicking. He said, my mods are panicking. Guys, I know I did that. No, you didn't know you did that. You made a stupid mistake, and you told on yourself. And then he did it a second time where he showed himself admitting in the email that he hit his wife prior to the black eye incident. A spirit of stupor came upon you, Sam, and now you're telling on yourself, and you're making yourself look worse and like a bigger liar than you were before. So if anyone has a spirit of stupor, it's Sam.
Yeah, he says, I'm not a wife beater, and then the next day
shows two incidences
with a picture of a bashed up face, and that face is not his.
And that's and for his mods who are trying to cover for him, this should be majorly rebuked. You're trying to cover for his sin and say, oh, people might be able to use this against you. You accidentally brought this out. Like, dude, if this is your friend and this is your teacher, and you have a godly love for him and you want the best for him, you don't have him hide things and try, let's cover it up, guys, let's cover it up. This is the cover up culture that we're talking about. So shame on you, William, and shame on you, Sam, a million times. These guys are in all the mods, and especially the mod who threatened to dox us as well. Shame on all these guys. They're pathetic, and they're liars, and they're just covering things up. They're covering up for sin, and these guys are using the tactics of the Muslims, flagging videos.
They seem like an evil cult. They flag the videos. Let's dox this guy and stuff. Why?
Yeah, shame on them.
What are you worried about? What are you worried about coming out? I put this up because I don't know what the context is. Why did he not extract himself from that situation? That could refer to Muhammad, the Zutt. Why did he not extract himself from that situation? Could refer to Abdullah ibn Masud. Why did he not get out of there when he had the chance? Or it could refer to Muhammad. Could refer to Sam. Extracting himself from the situation if he's saying that he was so horribly abused and so on. Not sure. All right. So, Sam fans, is this going the way you thought? Huh? Is this the way you wanted it to go? We're happy talking about dude, this is what's crazy, right? Just as when I parted ways with Sam, I was happy to go off and do my own things. Let the Lord deal with you. Let people who are watching you deal with your behavior. I'm done. I'll go do my own thing. Leave me alone, right? That was his wife said it. Just leave me alone. Leave me alone, right? And here we are. Okay, we already said what we wanted to say. We said what we wanted to say on Sunday. We said it. We said it all. We said it all. And so now we want to do other things. His fans are not going to let us. Every single live stream, David, what about Sam? Blah, blah, blah. And we're going to talk about Sam more. Dudes, this is not going to go the way you want. You are never, ever, ever going to help Sam by getting us on, while we're addressing other topics, to start talking about Sam. So, guys, I know Sam is your leader and Sam behaves impulsively and does the stupidest things anyone could possibly do that backfire and blow up in his face over and over and over again. And you basically worship him. So you absorb the same impulsive behavior where you just go around just starting things up everywhere and running your mouths everywhere. Guys, do you really want to do this? Do you really want to do this? Do you want us to keep talking about Sam even when we're talking about other things? Is that what you want? Because we'll do it. We'll do it. We just wonder what goes through your head when you're like, hey, they're talking about Muhammad and Zutt. Let's make them talk about Sam Shamoun. Gosh, you guys are nuts. Everything. Why? Because you're in a cult and everything's about Sam Shamoun. You're in a cult of Sam Shamoun. All that matters in the world is Sam Shamoun. So you go into a different live stream. Sam Shamoun. What about Sam Shamoun? What about Sam Shamoun? Oh boy. What was that?
I was just saying I can't. Oh, you were saying something first.
What's funny is Sam told them, don't go and defend me because it will look like you're not in a cult. What do? They prove they're in a cult by coming to defend him. You guys, you should listen to him and not defend him because that's not what he wanted. He wanted to prove something else. You're proving our point.
Yeah, but notice that though. Okay, you guys are not in a cult. You're not Shamounians. Next breath. This is what you're not going to do. You're not going to do this. You're not going to do this. You're not going to do that. All these rules. Don't go over there. Don't do this. Don't do that. It's like, wait a minute. Are they in a cult or not? Can they just do what they want to do, or do they have to follow your rules everywhere they go, even outside of your stream? Can they just go to David's stream when you're not there?
No,
but they
you
still have to follow your dictations and your rules. Like, David, have you ever instructed the chat
not to do something
in someone else's chat, like when they're not in
don't go over there. They're going to be talking about me. Guys, don't go over there. Don't go over there. No, don't go over there.
Like you're setting rules.
Ain't your boss?
That's crazy.
I'll come up with plans like, hey, here's a point, guys. Everyone go share this point because we want this to become common knowledge and so on. But I mean, at the end of the day, I'm not your boss. If you don't want to follow that, don't follow that.
Yeah, exactly. So.
You're not in a cult, but here's what you must not do.
Yeah.
You don't realize the discrepancy.
Again, the spirit of stupor that he talks about, this guy has embodied that. And you know what? I want to say for so long, I had the same kind of mindset as you, David, as well. Like whenever people bring up Sam in our chat, we would just ignore it. And I just thought the same way as you. Like if anyone just sees this guy for 5 minutes, they're going to realize this guy's like a complete phony, a complete fraud. Like you don't need me to say it, right? That's what I thought. I thought that. And so I had the same mentality as you. Like people are going to find it out. Tune into Sam for 5 minutes. I'm not joking. He'll be praising Jesus. Then he'll literally cuss someone's mom out. And I'm not exaggerating. It's in the same breath. And like in James, which James 3, it talks about that, like the same tongue that used to bless God curses, man, like that's
one of the main verses that you would instantly think of with Sam. And that's the issue. It's like everything he does, he's violating so many passages, but then he'll take a verse and just use it to beat you to death. Like, no, you violated this verse. Oh, what kind of you see? You're not a Christian. This person should be completely ignored and cast out of the church. I'm not saying because he violated it. Dude, you're violating hundreds of verses every time you do a live stream, and you don't care even slightly.
No.
Rules don't apply. Rules don't apply to the cult leader. Weird stuff.